Hey, we are live. What's up, everybody? This is the first time we've gone live
for the first time in forever.
I'm not singing it. Since Toy Story 4? Yeah, Toy Story 4. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for that and kind of get that out of the way. I have been out of town and been screaming on roller coasters and getting sick apparently. So my voice is kind of going in and out. So just bear with us. Jason's going to do a lot of the talking probably because my voice is going to cut in and out every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I'm just so good at that.
You are. You're the talker of the group.
Now we both sound like we're congested because I always sound like that.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't make that joke already today.
No, definitely didn't
That's
make that
the first time.
On the Dorks Next Door podcast. Hey, you should go check that out on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play.
That was a really fun episode to record.
That was a lot of fun. So
I'll plug that as well.
Hopefully it'll be up tonight, the latest tomorrow morning. But it'll definitely be up either today or tomorrow. Definitely check that out because we are going to kind of go into, we talked about San Diego Comic-Con a lot. We talked about Spider-Man Far From Home crossing $1 billion and Avengers Endgame being the highest grossing movie of all time, plus a couple of the deleted scenes and pitched ideas and things like that we discussed. So definitely check out that episode. But today, this live stream is dedicated all to Phase 4. We want to talk to everybody in the chat who's going to be joining with us about Phase 4, what they're looking forward to the most. This is just going to be a discussion. We're going to talk. We're probably going to be live for about 30 minutes or so. Discuss some things, talk some things, and then we'll just hang out and have a good time. Next week, we're going to definitely try to do our Jackbox Live.
Yeah.
Next week or the week after?
It'll be the first week of the month, so.
Yep. So we'll definitely try to do that. We've said that for a while now. Or is it the week after?
When is August 1st?
August 1st is Thursday. Next Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday.
Okay, so it'll be the week after?
It'll be the week after, yeah. So not next week, but the week after will be our Jackbox Live game. But we may still go live next week to discuss some things if some news breaks or something like that. So be prepared for that. Be ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Phase 4. San Diego Comic-Con, there's a lot that kind of happened, a lot that went down.
But I think the first most important order of business is that I show off
you show off your sick Quantum Realm
Avengers team suit hoodie.
Yes. Here. Hang on. Do this proper.
Check it out. I don't know how to pose. It's super cool. I do the coat rack pose. That's what I'll do.
I love it. It looks good.
Here, I got a hood too for my awesome hair. It definitely does not need to be cut. I made the team, guys. I made the team. My power is reaching things on the top shelf.
He's officially an Avenger now.
Yes.
You have been knighted.
Yes.
Now you are an Avenger.
Thank you. My lifelong dream has been accomplished.
Yes, definitely.
But in all seriousness, I love this hoodie.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
I really like it.
I like it a lot.
So, I just got it for my 21st birthday. I'm still getting costume hoodies, which is great. That is not a complaint whatsoever.
No, not at all. No, I mean you're living your life.
Yeah.
I mean you're doing things right. Phase 4. We kind of talked about this on our podcast a little bit, but we're going to kind of discuss it here as well and talk about a few things. We kind of ranked a little bit of what our most anticipated is and then what our least anticipated is. And when we mean least anticipated, it doesn't mean that like we're not looking forward to it.
We're still really
excited for it. But we're also talking about the movies and we're talking about the Disney Plus shows. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going to be taking place in the next 2 years for Marvel. It was funny because I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago of like we thought that there was going to be kind of a dull period after Endgame.
There was definitely potential, like kind of empty.
And all of a sudden, there, and then at the very beginning, he was like, "Yeah, no, we're doing like 10. Like there are going to be 10 things going on in 2 years.
There are 10 projects in the next 2 years."
Yeah, and it was like, "Oh, okay, so you're not slowing down. You're just picking up business."
The entire Phase 4 is taking place in 2 years. Okay, gotcha. And awesome. Then he announced, he flung the door wide open for what is happening after that.
And then at the very end, he brought the roof down.
Yeah.
He just completely destroyed it all. So
yeah, this Comic-Con panel was just absolutely
it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. So we're going to take it movie by movie, show by show, kind of just discuss, talk a little bit, and kind of go over some things. So the first thing that was discussed was the first movie that's coming out. The movie that's coming out first in May of 2020 is Black Widow.
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson is obviously reprising her role as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. We discussed and we learned some of the villains that she will be facing, that will be taking off, and that she will be that she will be fighting. We know that she will be going up against, and they showed a scene of Taskmaster, but he didn't have his you couldn't tell it was him. He was like a hooded figure or something like that that she was fighting. We know that this is taking place between right after the events of Civil War, probably with a lot of flashbacks to her beginning, and her as a spy and things like that. So this movie is going to be taking over and doing a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It's going to be doing a lot of things. So I'm very, very excited about this movie.
Yeah, no, I really am too. The thing that kind of excites me the most about it is David Harbour, from Stranger Things, is going to be in it. Apparently, he's going to be playing Red Guardian, who's kind of like the Russian counterpart to Captain America.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and he's a super funny actor. So I'm sure whatever it is going to be really funny, really entertaining.
What's up, Webhead? Thanks for joining the stream. So after this, and we talked about this a little bit on the podcast. We're not going to try to give everything away because we want you to go listen to it. But we discussed and we talked about how one of the things that kind of brought down and kind of hurt Captain Marvel was she was kind of stuck in the past for this movie.
Right. She was so far removed, being sandwiched between the two biggest events in the saga so far. The events of her movie were so far removed in time, from what was actually happening, what people were paying attention to, that it was kind of, it kind of hurt her a little bit. The engagement kind of suffered there. Yeah. So I talked about the fact that I'm super excited that Black Widow is taking place after Civil War, and that's where I've always wanted it to take place, because that's a really interesting period of time for that character, and for the entire saga in general. And it would kind of suck to, kick off Phase 4 with a movie that's, again, far removed from the events of what's already happened in the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
And for both of the movies with female leads to just be like, those happened in the past. Those characters are here now in the present, but those things happened in the past.
Especially,
which I know they wouldn't do that intentionally, but...
Right, but one of the ways that you were talking about, like with Captain Marvel, was nobody... And I don't mean this in a bad way. Nobody cared what took place in the 90s. They wanted to see the effects of Infinity War.
Right.
And that brought it down a little bit.
Which makes sense because that's what's been built up to.
Exactly. If Captain Marvel would have been played or happened before, Captain Marvel could have happened after Endgame. Like, she literally could have showed up in Endgame.
Yep.
And it would have worked. It would have been completely fine.
Part of the reason I'm so excited about Black Widow happening when it's happening is because that's really when that movie should have come out.
Yeah.
Was early in Phase 3, really right after Civil War. Or late Phase 2.
Yeah.
And it could have been kind of in that crop of movies. Could have happened between Guardians and Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Could have happened right after Winter Soldier and right before Guardians. Probably after Guardians would be a better spot. But... I know that they have this whole thing very tightly planned out, but Black Widow has deserved a movie for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Super excited that it's happening. I'm not going to begrudge them the scheduling of it. I'm glad that Scarlett Johansson is still willing to come back and do it. But it'll be a lot of fun.
When we're very excited for this, but it's kind of like the bottom of this list because it's closer and we know the character already. We're excited to see the new characters. So the next thing they announced after this, the next thing coming out after this is the first Disney Plus show, which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes,
which is awesome. This is one that you're looking forward to the most, and it's one of my most anticipated shows for sure.
Right.
It looks absolutely fantastic. We talked about this of how Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan have perfect chemistry.
I'm going to say it again.
Do it.
If you have not watched Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan together on press panels and press tours, like before Winter Soldier, before and after Winter Soldier, before and after Civil War, before and after Infinity War. If you haven't watched compilations of that, if you're a Marvel fan, you have to do that because they are an amazing, like, they're a fantastic comedic duo. And I'm not just saying that, it's like, oh, yeah, there's some real funny actors, Marvel has plenty of funny actors. These guys have such fantastic chemistry. Like, it's just, like, delightful.
It is.
And that's the reason I'm most excited for. This is the show that I'm most excited for. Is just because of the chemistry between those two actors. And they're hilarious together. I hope that we get to see a lot of that. But also for kind of the continuation of Captain America, kind of as a mantle, and for the continuation of some stuff from Civil War, because Sharon Carter is a character that's coming back for this show.
Yep.
From Civil War, that's the last time we saw her. Baron Zemo.
Yep.
Is coming back for this show. He's going to be in his purple mask, which is going to be
awesome.
awesome.
I'm so excited for the purple mask.
Yeah.
Like, I love it when these comic book movies go comic book with it.
Yes.
Like Mysterio with the fishbowl.
Yep.
Love it. Baron Zemo with the purple mask. I love it.
I can see why they didn't put that in Civil War.
Yeah, it didn't really. It
wasn't
wouldn't
really
fit.
Grounded movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't have fit in Civil War. But I think with the Disney Plus show, you can make it fit and you can make it work. And I think it's going to be really, 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 really interesting to see that. Baron Zemo is, to me at least, one of the most underrated villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very excited to see him get to have another opportunity and to shine even more in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, for sure.
Really just seeing Sam Wilson take up the mantle of Captain America is the thing that I'm most excited
it's
for.
Going to be really, really, really cool.
Because I think that's a perfect fit.
He is.
And it's going to be
epic.
Really sweet.
The next thing, which is our most anticipated. I'm very excited for this movie now.
Yep.
And that is the Eternals movie. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, Eternals beforehand, like a couple months ago, we knew who they were.
Yeah.
But we didn't know who they were. Like, if that makes sense. We knew of them. Right. We knew kind of some of their stuff, but we didn't know a lot about them. So we weren't like super, super excited for this movie. And you brought up the good comparison on the podcast. It's kind of like the Guardians. Like, nobody knew a whole lot about the Guardians, but look what they did.
Except for your boy.
Well, you knew who they were.
I did know who they were.
You knew who they were.
And as I said on the podcast, in high school, I was like, I was the guy who knew who the Guardians were before the movie. So I'm really cool.
Yeah. What's up, Nico? And Nico said, sick hoodie.
Thank you.
Sick hoodie.
Thank you, I know. Is the correct response to that. Thank you, I know. It's a sick hoodie.
Definitely.
But yeah.
But after all the stuff that they talked about, after all the stuff Kevin Feige brought up about the Eternals and the casting that we saw and all of this stuff, and I'll let you talk about it because I know you're going to talk about it. I'll let you talk about the cinematography and stuff like that. The casting for this movie is spot on. It looks spot on. It looks awesome.
Yeah. It looks like a set. It looks so culturally diverse.
It does.
And I think that's really exciting.
It does. They brought up they've already shown like some of the footage or like set stuff, and it's like the Celestials are going to be in it.
Concept art.
The Celestials are going to be in it. Things like that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But the thing that we're both excited for the most about this movie is
this epic cosmic scale. All right. I love cosmic Marvel stuff so much. I'm so glad we've gotten to focus on the Avengers up through the entire Infinity Saga. I cannot wait to go full, like, epic cosmic stuff. And all of the Eternals are these characters that have lived for so long, like Thor.
Right.
And it's kind of like, we got this stuff hinted at in Guardians and stuff like that. Different movies like that. It's been hinted at in Thor and Thor Ragnarok. But, like, we've never seen a movie on this, like, huge cosmic scale before. Yeah. And it seems like it's going to be so much fun to finally see that. It opens the doors to characters like Adam Warlock, characters like Silver Surfer, like huge things happening in the cosmos, Galactus, giant entities. So, yeah, that's the thing that I'm most excited for, the production design. Kevin Feige said they're going to go full Jack Kirby. That was his quote. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'm sold on this movie if that's the inspiration that you're drawing from, because obviously Jack Kirby created the Eternals. He was, a huge influence in Marvel Comics. Cannot be understated. Really right behind Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are the people that we have to thank for all of this.
Right.
So the fact that he said he's going to lean fully into that influence for this movie
is awesome.
is just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's my most anticipated. You know, even if it's not something that obviously I'm looking forward to everything.
Right.
You know, I'm thrilled about Doctor Strange and Thor, but like the fact that they're going to lean fully into cosmic Jack Kirby, you know, really weird Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds so cool.
It does.
So
it really does.
I can't wait for this movie. I really hope that it's going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy where, you know, you take kind of these C-tier characters, you know, and it ends up elevating them in the mainstream consciousness.
Yep. The next movie coming after that is Shang-Chi, which, well, Shang-Chi. Wow, I'm sorry. Shang-Chi and the Rise. It's called the Rise of the Ten Rings.
The Legend.
The Legend of the Ten Rings. Right. I'm so happy that they're getting to redo the Mandarin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very happy that they're getting to redo the Mandarin, and I love that they're doing it in this movie.
I liked the Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3, but I think that this fits, you know, as a continuation of that.
Yeah.
You know, because Iron Man's supposed to be kind of a, you know, more irreverent thing inherently, and I think that twist worked so well for implementing the Mandarin into Iron Man. I know that's not a very
popular opinion.
You know, MCU hot take. I hate it when people say that, but I think that having this kind of irreverent, you know, like Mandarin fake out in Iron Man 3,
right,
and having the actual Mandarin in Shang-Chi, I think it totally works.
Yeah,
I think it complements each other. You know, we're just gonna have to see how it works together. There was kind of murmurs I heard about the Mandarin being Shang-Chi's father, which I think would be a really fun dynamic. Yep. But we don't know a whole lot about this movie. I love how enthusiastic the guy that they got to play
is about
Shang-Chi is about the role.
Yeah.
Already he's just like full of enthusiasm, which sounds awesome. And the thing that excites me most about this movie so far is that they have the cinematographer from Spider-Man 2 and The Matrix on board.
So it's going to be beautifully done.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely beautifully done.
No, I really hope so. I think the action in this movie is going to be some of the best we've seen.
Yeah. Definitely.
So far.
Definitely. So, like, this is the first, though. The thing that's crazy about this is, like, this is the first year. Like, this is the first 3 movies is taking place next year.
Right. Well, 2 movies in one show.
Yeah. And Shang-Chi is starting in 2021?
Yeah.
Does it have the February slot or is it March?
I think it's February.
Yeah. Which is absolutely awesome. Yeah. Like, that we're getting this much content in 2 years. And then the next Disney Plus show is WandaVision, which I hate the name. Absolutely hate the name WandaVision.
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of it. But the biggest thing to take away, the thing that I love the most is that they said this is taking place after Endgame.
Which means the Vision is returning.
Yeah, somehow Vision is coming, is going to be back. And then also that Monica Rambeau is going to be in this movie, which is kind of like out of nowhere.
Yes, so the young girl in Captain Marvel, Carol's friend Maria, her young daughter was Monica Rambeau, and now she's going to be all grown up. And, of course, she was a huge Avenger in the 70s and 80s, super influential in the comics. She led the Avengers for a little while. She's gone by Captain Marvel. She's gone by Photon and Spectrum. But I think this is a really interesting place to introduce her character because I think that a lot of comic fans knew that she was going to come back at some point. But having her be introduced in a show about Scarlet Witch and Vision is kind of an interesting spot. But I think it'll be really cool. Yeah. The only connection that those characters really have is that they were Avengers at the same time in the comics.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm sure her role in that will be
huge. Be fun.
Definitely.
Be interesting.
And I'm glad they announced that here.
Yes.
That's definitely something to look forward to.
Definitely. The next one is the movie I'm probably most looking forward to just because of what it's going to be like entailing. And that is Doctor Strange. I'm going to try this again. Doctor Strange.
You got it.
Multiverse into the Madness, basically.
In the Multiverse of Madness.
That's such a dumb title. It's not, though.
We'll get it eventually.
In the Multiverse of Madness.
Doctor Strange into the...
Basically, Doctor Strange is going through
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
I'm so excited for this movie. The fact that we're just getting multiverse travel is so freaking awesome. And the fact that Scarlet Witch is going to be a part of this is even better.
Yes.
No, I'm so looking forward to this.
I'm excited to see her under a completely new light.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get to see like her powers grow and develop chaos magic. We'll get to see all kinds of crazy stuff with her. I'd love to see her in kind of an apprentice role.
Yeah.
With Doctor Strange.
And we talked about this on our podcast a little bit, but I'm so happy that they didn't let Spider-Man be the one to do the multiverse travel.
Right.
Because this is such a Doctor Strange thing.
Yes.
This is such a Doctor Strange thing. And like Doctor Strange was a good movie, but it had a lot of...
That's like introducing Mysterio in Doctor Strange.
Exactly. it had a lot of forgettable moments in it.
Yeah, no, I think there was a lot of important stuff that happened regarding the future of the MCU in the first Doctor Strange. I think a lot of it was kind of forgettable, and I think it was also, it very much suffered from being an MCU origin story.
Yeah.
To where it owed a lot to Iron Man. It was probably the most similar to Iron Man that came out in all of Phase 3. So, yeah, no, I hope that this is kind of like the Winter Soldier of Doctor Strange, to where we see this character under a completely new light, and they kind of revamp him. Yeah. And like same with Thor Ragnarok, they kind of revamp this character and they put them totally into their element and make an awesome movie out of it, which is what it looks like. And Scott Derrickson, who's the director, said that it's going to be like the first scary MCU film.
Which is awesome.
Which I'm sure it'll still be PG-13, but I think that's, it's a cool influence to lean into, and the villain is going to be Nightmare. Yeah. Which will be a lot of fun,
But you kind of have to have the horror element for Nightmare to kind of be in there. I'm just... the thing about it, though, is like, everyone was freaking out because Spider-Man dropped the term multiverse.
Right.
A lot of people forgot that has already been established in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's one of like the forgettable parts. It's something that you wouldn't think would be forgettable, but it kind of is. Because I was like, why don't I remember the multiverse kind of being brought up in Doctor Strange? And even though it was,
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting to note that and remember that. So the fact that we're getting a movie all about that is very interesting and awesome, and I really, really, really hope they travel to hell. I want them to travel to hell.
It seems like the perfect place to take his sequel.
It does. Too. It really does. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, definitely. The next show is Loki, which is taking place right after the events of Endgame with him escaping with the Tesseract. Mm-hmm. So him going on that adventure, and that's all we know.
That is all we know.
All we know.
Tom Hiddleston is back as Loki.
Yeah,
and that's all we need to know.
That's all we need to know. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be absolutely awesome to see that.
Something that I want to say that I love is that they treated the Disney Plus shows as
just
not
as
quite
important.
On the same level as the movies, but they still gave them slots.
Yeah,
like the movies up on the board and everything.
Because I think they're gonna be crucial to a lot of the MCU elements.
And with the shows that we've had so far, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Defenders shows, and on Hulu, there was Runaways and there's Cloak and Dagger and stuff. And Agent Carter and Inhumans, like all the things, they've kind of been like satellite things. And they're still like, part of the lore, definitely. And there's still like a lot of that stuff is really great. Mm-hmm. But to have shows that are really like purposeful, this is purposefully a production by Kevin Feige specifically. He's very involved in it. It's not Marvel TV, it's Marvel Studios who's doing these shows. Yeah. It means that they're going to be, very tightly woven into the things that are happening, which is super exciting.
Which is awesome. Yeah,
I think and concerns about Disney being a monopoly, I think, are very valid. On a more broad scale. But I don't know. I think there's just so much exciting stuff to look forward to. And
definitely,
we can have that debate more in the future once we see the effects of Disney Plus.
Definitely.
Which for now.
If Disney wants to take over the world, you know what? Let them.
You know what? If I get a Moon Knight movie out of it, then
I'm fine with it. If I get a Moon Knight and a Silver Surfer movie and a Nova movie, they can run the world. I'm fine with that.
Right? Yeah, it totally tips the scales
in
Disney's favor. For sure,
definitely. The show I am most looking forward to is the first animated series, What If. Because it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, most of the cast is coming back. A lot of the voice actors are coming back.
Actors. Yeah,
Hank Pym, Michael Douglas, Paul Rudd, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, Josh Brolin, Sebastian Stan,
Chadwick Boseman,
Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, but the guy that plays Tony's dad. whatever his name, Howard Stark,
yeah.
but whatever his name is. A lot of like the main marquee characters are coming back. I think they already announced the first episode, which is what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers, which is the fact that they do like little stuff like this is going to be absolutely awesome.
I'm sure one of them is going to be what if Killmonger actually took over Wakanda. Yeah, because they've got Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman back. Man. But yeah, no, that show is super exciting. Jeffrey Wright from Westworld is going to voice the Watcher, which is the perfect way to frame this show.
Yeah.
And I was saying on the podcast that it's so exciting that the MCU has such a wealth of content at this point that they can make a retrospective show like this where it's an animated show saying what if different things happened at different points in the lore. You know, what other franchise can do something like that? Disney Plus is the perfect outlet for it. And, you know, if I had walked out of the first Avengers movie and you had told me that this many years down the road they'd be making a what-if show based off this comic series, you know, with the Watcher hosting the show, all of these actors coming back with all of this, you know, comic book lore put up on the screen, it's just amazing.
It. Yeah. So I'm so looking forward to this, though. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic and awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the last Disney Plus show that they announced is Hawkeye, which is going to also introduce Kate Bishop. Jeremy Renner is coming back as Hawkeye. The more Hawkeye, the better. So I'm all on board with this. I love Hawkeye. And I think this is the best way to still use him is on the Disney Plus. And then you can build up Kate Bishop, which is the first, I think you mentioned this on the podcast, is the first Young Avenger.
And it kind of stokes my hopes for Young Avengers show on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Do it. Make them the defenders of Disney Plus. Please. That would be so awesome. I would love if they built up to Young Avengers on Disney Plus. That would be cool. Which I just said. And I've talked about that a little bit before, too. I think it would be the perfect outlet for that team to shine, you know, even better than a movie for them.
Definitely.
So...
and then the last movie for Phase 4 that they announced is the one that we talked about last week on our podcast, the one that broke last week, Thor, Love and Thunder, which has a lot of elements to it. There's a lot of stuff that is going on. Taika Waititi kind of teased Beta Ray Bill, which is what we talked about last week. We'd love to see Beta Ray Bill. He also teased, he didn't come out and say it at the Comic-Con really, but he teased Natalie Portman's Jane Foster will pick up the mantle of Mighty Thor, which we talked about this on the podcast, and we talked about this before. Jane Foster is one of those characters that's like, she shows up and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, she's there. Once we both found out that she was going to be picking up the mantle as Mighty Thor, I was like, I'm on board. I love it.
Yep.
Let her do it. Because it was the same feeling that with Pepper of like, she's just kind of there to be there. And then when she shows up in Endgame as Rescue, I was like, she just became super cool, like out of nowhere.
Right. No, I think it's a really exciting place to kind of take, because Jane Foster wasn't really that interesting. No. And she was one of the few MCU characters that I was kind of like, you know, if I don't see her again, then whatever.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Natalie Portman was that way too. You know, if I don't play this character again, then I'm okay with that. But then they were like, hey, do you want to be Thor? And she's like, yes. So I am really excited about that. You know, it's not... You know, if you would have asked me a little while ago before Ragnarok came out, what if Jane Foster came back as Thor? I'd be like, you know, whatever.
Right.
But now that we have Ragnarok, and this is going to be another movie in the style of Ragnarok, and there are all these different elements in play, and Thor is a different person now, I'm like, yes.
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
And the fact that Asgard is now on Earth is very interesting and leaves a lot of things open. We talked about how we would love to see the Hulk in this movie.
Yep.
Especially with Valkyrie being the new king of Asgard, kind of seeing that dynamic come back again would be really, really cool.
Yep.
There's a whole lot going on with this movie. There's going to be a whole lot happening with this movie, and I'm totally there for it.
Yep.
I'm totally there for it. The fact that Ragnarok kind of saved Thor's character, because I truly think that if Ragnarok would have failed a little bit, Thor would have been done.
Yeah, kind of.
And so now that Ragnarok kind of like revitalized his character and like gave it new life, I think Thor is going to be in the MCU for a very long time.
I totally do. Time. And Chris Hemsworth was really pretty much done with Thor after Ultron until Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And now, since Ragnarok, he's been like, I want to play him as long as I can.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally in love with the character now. And
that's
I'm like,
a straight up thanks to Taika Waititi.
Yes,
like, that's
it is.
Straight up thank you to Taika Waititi.
He's become one of the most integral directors in Marvel.
Yeah. The
top 5.
The Russo brothers are the top of the top because it's the Russo brothers. They say Captain America. They did a fantastic job with both Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn is up there for Guardians.
James Gunn would be second.
Yeah. Taika Waititi. I think Taika Waititi's third. Maybe Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau and then Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, maybe Joss Whedon, and then Taika Waititi.
I think I would put Joss Whedon behind
Joss Whedon not only did Avengers, Age of Ultron was kind of like
yeah,
but he not only did Avengers, but he built a lot of Phase 1 stuff with Jon Favreau. So, yeah, but I mean, after Love and Thunder, I mean, Taika Waititi is, for sure going to be one of the biggest directors
definitely
in the MCU, and that's so great because he's really fantastic.
He is. He really is. He gets a hold of who Thor should be.
Right.
In the MCU, and it works really, really, really
well. And he approaches the superhero movie from a unique direction.
Yeah.
Which is really what the entire genre needs right now.
And that's what made Guardians so interesting is James Gunn did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn came at it from a completely different direction. And now look at the Guardians, and Taika was like, well, let's come at Thor from a completely different... Because I don't think you could have done this with Captain America or with Iron Man. And come this direction with it. And it would have worked as well as it did with Thor.
Right, coming specifically to like a more improv comedy direction, definitely.
Because Thor is already one of those characters that's like a fish out of water.
Yeah,
and so if you're a fish out of water, then just go comedy with it and it'll work.
Right, Iron Man by Iron Man 3 was kind of an irreverent action comedy, and then Captain America with Winter Soldier became something completely different as well.
Yeah,
that was kind of a revitalizing.
Definitely. And so everyone kind of thought that this was like the end of like all the reveals,
which already was amazing.
Yes, these 10 projects are fantastic. If it had ended here, I'd be very, very happy.
Yeah.
But then he even said we didn't even get a chance to talk about Captain Marvel 2, which I really hope they do the Secret Invasion with Captain Marvel 2.
That'd be great.
Black Panther 2, which I hope Namor is in it, which would be absolutely awesome.
Guardians Volume 3,
which will introduce Adam Warlock and
High Evolutionary,
probably. And then he just throws out Fantastic Four and the Mutants, and then just keeps on going. And we're like, wait, you can't just throw Fantastic Four and the Mutants in this statement.
Just blows the door wide open for the entire future.
Anything. He said, but that's not all. And the lights completely cut out. And I think a lot of people were tweeting like, oh, this is probably going to be like the logo for the Fantastic Four movie. Maybe if somehow, some way they already have the logo for an X-Men movie. Maybe Nova. Maybe something like that. None of that. Not even close. We are getting a freaking Blade movie.
Yes.
And we talked about this on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. I did not know I wanted to see Blade in the MCU until he said Blade. And then when he said that and they showed the logo and we found out that Mahershala Walker is playing him, or not Mahershala Walker.
Mahershala Ali.
Is playing him. I freaked out and I was like, this is fantastic. I need to see this movie. Assuming it's a movie.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure with the way that it was hyped up, it will be.
It has to be now.
So I talked about this with you a little bit on the podcast, to where Blade is kind of a way into Marvel Knights, which was an imprint, which has a lot of characters circling around it. So if they did a Blade trilogy, this is the way they could introduce Moon Knight, which would be the perfect way to bring in Moon Knight.
We've been talking about Moon Knight for a long time.
Yes, that would be the perfect way to introduce Moon Knight, as in like the second Blade movie or something like that.
Yep.
You could bring back Punisher. You could bring back Daredevil. You could bring back all of the Defenders, however many Defenders characters you want to. But this is such a great inlet to the entire Marvel Knights universe.
Yep.
Ghost Rider.
Yep.
Not really Morbius because he's Sony. And that's kind of whatever. But so many great characters that you could that you could tap into there.
Yep.
In kind of like this Blade corner, because what Marvel has been doing is they've been building different corners of their lore. You've got kind of like the Black Panther circle of characters, and you've got the Doctor Strange circle of characters.
You kind of have the Captain America characters. You have the Iron Man characters. You have the Avengers kind of in that somewhere.
Yep.
So,
if you build up a circle of characters around Blade, you could totally do that.
Yeah.
You could totally bring back characters from Netflix that people thought, they were through with. Because they were Marvel TV.
If you, at the end of, like, say, Blade 2, all of a sudden, Daredevil and Punisher showed up. And it's the actors from...
Charlie Cox and John
Bernthal.
Yeah.
If they showed up, could you imagine how many people would freak out over that?
Oh yeah.
Like I would be. It would feel like Christmas morning. I would be freaking out, and that would be absolutely fantastic to see all of these characters in the MCU. And I even brought this up on the podcast. This needs to be the MCU's first rated R movie.
Yes,
it has to be.
It does.
It has to be, because you can't do Blade justice by keeping him to a PG-13 rating. Like, you can't really do it justice. You can make it to where he's one of those characters, like, in his own movie. He's kind of like Deadpool. In his own movie, he needs to have the R rating.
Yeah.
But he could go and be a part of a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be, his part's not going to be as violent and as graphic as it would be in his own movie.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. But that's such an exciting announcement. And it was super unexpected, too. I don't think anybody expected them to bring back Blade.
No, because I think we talked about it, but we were like, that was like the bottom of our list of like, this will never happen. This might happen, but it'll be like Phase 7, like if it ever does happen. And like I was even telling you this because I was in Ohio. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio when it happened. I was actually at a Reds baseball game, and I didn't have very good reception in there. And we were leaving the stadium, and I felt my phone buzz because I had a bunch of people on Twitter notifications. My phone was buzzing like most of the time, and I remember I picked up my phone and looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, Kevin Feige announces a Blade project." And I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I put it in my pocket, and then like 10 seconds later, I was like, "Wait, did that say Blade?" And I had to pull it back out and look, and I was like, "We're getting freaking Blade," and I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for it. It's not going to happen until Phase 5, for sure. Mm-hmm. If they're doing 10 projects in 2 years, they have to be building to something kind of massive in Phase 5.
Yes.
Or even like later on in Phase 6.
Yes.
Like they have to be building to something huge. And with them bringing in Fantastic Four and things, do you think that we're going to probably get a Secret Wars movie before anything else?
I have no idea. I think that Secret Invasion would be a really cool way to take Captain Marvel 2, and I don't know how many different people that's going to involve.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, really, it seemed like Phase 1 was building up to the first Avengers. Phase 2 was kind of building up to Age of Ultron, but not as much.
Right.
Phase 2 was more like connective between Phase 3, which was building up to Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And it seems like Phase 4 isn't really building to anything in particular, kind of like Phase 2. But then Phase 5, I'm sure Phase 5 is going to cap off with something, crazy.
Probably towards either Dark Reign or
some
Secret
X-Men
Wars
involving
X-Men.
Yeah.
Avengers versus X-Men would be
that would be
fun
insane.
movie. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
That would be a great movie. That would be a really good way to introduce the X-Men as well.
Right.
So that would be a really, really, really cool adventure.
Yeah, so I mean, just absolute insanity.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. I mean, the fact that he announced, so really they were like, all right, this is our exact 2-year plan for Phase 4. And then here's this entire library of stuff that we're going to tap into for Phase 5 and beyond. So wild.
The thing that I love about this, though, is like they literally could go in any direction.
Yeah.
Any direction they want to. And I'm going to be on the ride for it. Like, because I think we were talking about this a little bit before of, like, the excitement could kind of drop after Endgame a little bit. Like, we could be, like, the Marvel fatigue, and, like, the it could kind of drop a little bit to where it's like, yeah, like I'm gonna go watch these movies, but I'm not like super super excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
After this, depending on how good like these first few movies and like Disney Plus shows are, I think we could continue on with this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Before like we get bored with it, especially if they handle everything properly, which they haven't mishandled really anything yet. So.
No, not at all. And it seems like they're taking things in the perfect direction for Phase 4. So, I mean, the Marvel train shows no signs of
slowing down.
Really. I mean, and that's unreal.
Yeah.
That we've made it this far, and that, it seems like there are so many exciting things that they have in the future. And really, I mean, since they're not building to anything in Phase 4, I think it's good that they said, we have these massive, massive plans for Phase 5. There's no Avengers movie that we're building to over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But, we're going to get to all this crazy stuff in the future, and what we have right now is going to be...
fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Great.
And we're going to go all out with it.
Yeah.
Go all out with it.
Hopefully this is the phase of kind of artistic expansion.
Yes.
Because they've made a lot of superhero movies. Superhero movies that draw from other influences, but they've really defined, what the superhero blockbuster is and can be, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a formula. There is a formula to it. There's a formula to a lot of the origin stories and stuff. But, I mean, it's, for the most part, done really well. It's done really tastefully, and it's done really intentionally. So I do hope that this is kind of the phase where we pull from stronger artistic influences.
Yeah.
And they start to like branch out in different directions.
Definitely.
More,
yeah. So yeah, we're very, very excited for Phase 4, and we're looking forward to everything that it has to offer with it. Do you have anything else that you would like to add when discussing and talking about Phase 4?
Between this and the podcast, I think
we've covered
all my thoughts out.
I think we've covered it all for the most part. We appreciate you guys joining us with the live stream. Once again, I apologize for my voice and kind of being down a little bit. It's been a long week. It's been a very, very long week, but there was no way we were going to go without talking about San Diego Comic-Con and Phase 4. It's like Christmas. Like, you can't skip Christmas. So you kind of have to hang out with it and stay with it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys joining us here. Make sure if you haven't already, you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. If you're watching this after we've gone live, on what you are most looking forward to in Phase 4. I already see Justin put What If and Black Widow. I'm totally agree with you there. I'm looking forward to both of those as well. It's going to be absolutely awesome, Phase 4 everything. So make sure you let us know down below what you are looking forward to the most. You can follow us on Twitter at Dorks Next Door. Take out the E from next. You can follow me on Twitter at I'mAndyYork. You can follow Jason on Twitter at DNDJason. Make sure you check out our podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play, where we talk about Phase 4 even more. We also dive into Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers Endgame Spider-Man Far From Home passing $1 billion, and then Avengers Endgame being the highest grossing movie of all time, as well as a few deleted scenes and some script ideas that they had that we kind of wish they would have kept in, because it would have been mind-blowing and awesome to see.
For sure.
So make sure you check that out. Make sure you also leave a like, review, rate there, and share it with your friends. We really appreciate you guys joining us. We are live streaming hopefully again next week or Tuesday. We're probably meeting again Tuesday and live streaming Tuesday.
Yep.
So kind of a quick turnaround. So we'll find something to talk about, I'm sure, Tuesday. If not, we'll come up with something. We'll just make up something, and we'll roll with it. So we really
Comic-Con Part 2. Jason hits his microphone cord. Part 1.
Oh, man. We really appreciate you guys joining us on our live stream, and we really appreciate you guys supporting and being a part of this journey with us. And, yeah, we're having fun, and we're enjoying doing it with you guys. So look for some more stuff coming out in the future. We're still working on a few different video ideas and things like that. So we really appreciate you guys being patient and waiting on that, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.